Well, I had an annoying leak from the gasoline on the Ninja, and I took the tank off and I inspected it and moved it around in every possible position, and there's no leak in the tank, which is great news. Well, this Ninja 250 tank has been a real pain in the ass. I looked in the tank and I could only see a tiny little bit of rust, but the thing was starving out and acting up bad, and when I drained the gas out I got huge amounts of rust, big chunks of rust, tons of rust. The valve was completely choked with it. So I did the usual thing with phosphoric acid in the tank, but because there's a lip that goes down, the gas filler is small and it's got a lip that goes down about 1.5 inches or 2 inches. You can't get your fingers in there. I usually use clean, sharp gravel and phosphoric acid to clean the tanks, agitate it with that gravel, but there was no way to get it out. So I tried some roofing nails which I could get out with a magnet, but they weren't very sharp. And the worst rust, the rust that I couldn't get, was up along in here where the moisture had condensed and rusted the tank, and I couldn't get that out. So now I'm using Evaporust. And Evaporust is very slow unless you heat it. So I tried to seal up the tank with Gorilla Tape, which worked perfectly with the phosphoric acid, but the Evaporust just takes the glue right off and it would not seal. So I had to put the valve back on to seal the bottom of the tank, and I had to put the gas cap back on and try to seal it up with aluminum tank, and it's still dripping. So I had a brand new gallon of Evaporust, and I've lost most of it on the floor here to various leaks. Very frustrating. So all I'm able to do now is just let this drip out of here until it's up above the collar, which is, I don't know, at least 1 inch or 1.5 inches deep. And I'll let the remaining Evaporust sit in there. I've got it sitting on this heater. But the little drip pan is keeping the tank from heating up. But as soon as it quits dripping, it'll get hotter, and I'll just let it sit there for a couple of hours. And hot Evaporust will work in a couple of hours rather than overnight. There's no way to even keep the stuff in there overnight, so it's been really frustrating. The Ninja tank is a big tank. It's about 4.5 gallons. It's a big tank for any motorcycle, but especially for 250. But it's very convoluted in shape, as you can see, and difficult to get to various corners of it, and difficult to see various parts of it. Have to take a camera on a stalk that you hook up to your laptop to see in there, really. About the only way to do it. Maybe a mirror and a flashlight, but very difficult. So it's been extremely frustrating, especially not being able to seal a tank. A tank with a bigger opening, like the older BMW tanks that I used to do, you could almost get your hand in there, and there was only about 1/4 inch lip at the top, so you turn the tank upside down, you could just reach your fingers right in there and get all the sharp gravel out. But with this thing, there's no hope of doing that, and so it's a real pain without abrasives. Phosphoric acid and abrasives works very well, but you have to be able to get the abrasives out. And Evaporust will work fine, but you have to be able to keep it in the tank. And the most stubborn rust was on the top of the tank. I think the tank had sat with just a little gas in there and a lot of condensation until it rusted and rusted. And so it's being a real pain. Well, this is not quite quit dripping. I gotta collect this and pour it back in the bucket here and try to save as much as I can. Well, there it is. Hard to photograph, but pretty good. That's a hole in the gas tank.